All right, I call this meeting to order at 2 p.m. Bertha, if we can get the land acknowledgement.
Yes, so before we get started with our meeting, I would like to recite our land acknowledgement. Associated Students Incorporation at Sacramento State would like to take a moment to give honor and respect to the ancestors and to the diverse indigenous people connected to this territory on which we meet. The original stewards of this land belong to the Nisenan, Papuan, and Miwok Native Americans. Keep them in your mind and carry them in your hearts. And we ask that you take a moment to consider your ancestors and your relationship to the land we are on. Thank you.
Thank you. Natalie, if you can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. And we have a moment of silence. All right, Cartier, if you can get the roll call. Andrade Dominguez.
Present.
Boles. Varela.
Here.
Vega Castellanos.
Here.
Escalante. Torres. Aguirre.
Here.
Robert. Colin Vasquez.
Here.
Dani.
Here.
Jimenez.
Here.
Ambalia.
Here.
Hussein. Moore. Curry.
Here.
Gallardo.
Here.
Quinn.
Here.
Jackson.
Here.
Masudi.
Here.
Perez.
Present.
Denny.
Here.
Rocha.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the approval of minutes for 11/8/2023 board meeting, 11/15/2023 working board meeting, and 11/15/2023 special board meeting. If there are no objections, these minutes will be adopted. Okay, seeing none, the minutes are adopted. Next, we have public comment. Members of the audience may address the board on any item within the jurisdiction of the board or any agenda item. If you wish to address the board, please sign the speaker identification sheet. When you are called upon to speak, step forward to the podium and state your name and major clearly for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and the overall time is 15 minutes. Those wishing to speak on non-agenda items will be called upon at the beginning of the meeting. Those wishing to speak for or against an agenda item will be called upon after the item has been officially introduced to the board. Every agenda item will be open for public comment before the board takes formal action on the item. And we did have some public comments emailed to the board, and those are distributed. They were distributed to us earlier. Is there any general public comments on anything that is not on the agenda? Okay. Seeing none, we will start with our special presentation from Bertha Vega Castellanos, the Academic Affairs Report, our ASI Vice President of Academic Affairs. Whenever you're ready.
Hello. Okay, hi everybody. I am Bertha Castellanos Vega, your Vice President of Academic Affairs for ASI, and today I will be presenting my Academic Affairs report. So on the agenda today, there's 9 items. There will be an update on my VPAA operating rules, Division of Academic Affairs, the Faculty Senate for Spring 2023, the Student Academic Senate, the Enrollment Dashboard Update, College Directors' Academic Reports, Academic Affairs Initiatives, Tuition Increase, and the ASI Strategic Priorities connected to academics. So for my update, I attended 5 Faculty Senate meetings and 11 Faculty Senate executive meetings. I've met with the majority of administrators within my off roles for the introductions, understanding roles, and to discuss neutral academic issues. I've also met with the college directors to discuss any academic issues within their college. We've created and reviewed action plans. All Faculty Senate committees have 1 or 2 students, except for the Faculty's Policy Committee, which there's 0. The Great Appeal has 4 students, including myself, and I have held 3 student academic senate meetings, and the vice chair has held an additional 3. I've worked on the strategic priorities, and I have attended 10 events supporting ASI and university initiatives. So here is the Division of Academic Affairs inside Sac State, which provides leadership to the academic and educational activities to the university, including the faculty and staff in all 7 colleges, the university library, international programs and global engagement, the offices of undergraduates and graduate studies, the Office of Research, Innovation, and Economic Development, the Office of Faculty Advancement, the Center of Teaching and Learning, the Office of Academic Excellence, and the Carson Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. It's also affiliated with the activities that are stated below, which are the Student Grade Appeals, the Graduation Initiatives, the ARA SAT Grants, Academic Calendars, and Honors Program and Societies, which is all ran by these administrators and with the support of their administrative staff. Within my operating rules, I stay in communication with the top 3, which is Carlos Navarez, Tasha Souza, and David Ziegler. I'm also in communication with Emily Wickelkin, who is in charge of the Grades Appeal panel. So here you will see the Faculty Senate in a diagram. The Faculty Senate is a primary consultative body for the instructional and academic related matters on campus. So to talk a little bit about the diagram, here the Faculty Senate represents the CSU Academic Senate, and it also appoints representatives to the university committees. Down below you'll see the executive committees, subcommittees, where faculty, professors, administrators from our 7 colleges and athletics, library, temporary faculty, ASI, and CSU Sacramento Retiree Association sit at these meetings. You'll see that Adam Rex is the chair and our vice chair is Tracy Hamilton. We have ASI representatives who sit here, which is myself, Isabella Jimenez, who is the SSIS director, and Francisco Terran, who is a grad student. So here I chair the Student Academic Senate along with the vice chair and secretary. We have 2 students at large from each 7 colleges who come and serve as an advisory capacity to the Board of Directors pertaining to matters within the Faculty Senate and Academic Affairs that directly affect students. So I've held, like I mentioned, 3 meetings, and our Vice Chair Sidra has held additional 3. Right here we have discussed and reviewed the Faculty Senate agenda and issues. Some of the issues that we have talked about are updates on campus security, EBT acceptance. As of now, we have discovered that it's accepted at the North Village Resident Hall, and we would also like to have it accepted at the Union. We've also discussed the Great Appeals process, and we've had an ASI presentation. So each ASI director must recommend 2 students by the 2nd formal board meeting of the fall semester according to the operating rules. Some of the vacancies you'll see here is A&L 1, ECS we had another 1, and HHS 1, NSM 2, and SSIS 1. So I'll briefly be talking about the enrollment for spring 2022. Well, I'm going to say for the year of 2022 comparison to the year of 2023. Our last VPAA brought up the enrollment statistics, so I'm just going to compare and contrast. Right here, I also put in the enrollment dashboard where you can see literally from college, department, major, enrollment status, class level, unit load if you want to get into the deeper statistics. You'll see that the student head count for spring of 2022 was 29,076. And then you'll see that there's a student FTES, which is full-time students. And then I can't really see from over here, but I like to look at, I want you guys to take a notice on the transfer students as well. Right here I see 1,778. In fall of 2022, there's a total of 30,883. And then if you look at the transfer students, there is a total of 3,602. And then you can see here that on the colleges, the Health and Human Services is number 1. So now going to spring of 2023, the total head count is 30,011. And then the transfer students is 1,910. And you'll also see that the health and human services is continuing to be number one. And then fall 2023, we had a total of 30,193 students, and the transfer students, it's about 1,298 from right here. So pretty much what I did is just compared the spring semesters to each other and the fall semesters to each other. So in spring, there was a positive increase of 935, and in the fall, there was a negative decrease of 690 students. So here is, this is a brief, really simple academic report that I had with the college directors. There's more to add here, but to keep it short, I would like to introduce some of the things that our directors are working on, which I'm really proud of them because they go out and above to talk to the deans, to the departments, to make sure that the executives know what is going on within their colleges. So A&L director, it became vacant in October, but now we have a new director. Her name is Jennifer Escalante, and I haven't been able to meet with her, but I'm sure she has a couple things in mind already. And then our business director, it looks like we need a career center within the College of Business. We want social media engagement and professional development. The education director has seen an increased dropout rate from students within diverse backgrounds. She would like to create a panel that features Sac State alumni from underrepresented groups. She would like to create a social media Q&A to engage students within that college, and would like to utilize the KSSU radio. Our ECS director has seen issues with registration, hiring and retaining faculty, and not enough professors. Our HHS director has seen a lack of student engagement within the RPTA degree. She would like to see more classes transition to in-person rather than online, and she would like to work on an HHS focused career fair, since they are number one. Just say. NSM, we have a pending meeting, and then SSIS, they have lack of space in the classrooms. We need more faculty training and lack of alumni connections with students. Our undeclared director sees lack of advising social media. She would like to be more active in the social media outreach, and she would like to see a module created within Canvas providing resources for our undeclared students. And then lastly, our grad director sees professors a lack in office hours, not only in person but also in Zoom. He would like to survey the grad majors within MIS, SE, and Comms, and he advocates for international students. So I hope I got most of these things right. Again, this is just a brief explanation for their academic reports. So here, this is the Academic Affairs Initiatives. So like I mentioned, I am in communication with the top three, which is the Provost, Carlos Nevadas, Vice Provost, Tasha Swoza, who is under Faculty Success, and Vice Provost, David Ziegler, who is under Student Academic Success. So you can see here that they have different initiatives that they're working on. Number one for the provost is enrollment. As you notice, we would like to increase efforts for recruitment and retention because this is important to the university. If we don't meet our goal, we would have financial impact. And then the equity gap, specifically addressing DFW rates. So our last VPAA talked about this being an initiative, and I would just like to update it. There is a DFW fellow for each college that guides the process to identifying the courses and work with faculty to decrease DFWs within their colleges, which can lead to redesigning curriculum. And then back in 2021, there was a course redesign grant that went out where faculty may request up to $40,000 for initiatives designed to reduce DFW rates. There was an assessment report due during spring of 2023. I don't have an update on that, but hopefully within the next academic report I can have an update. And then number three, all 7 colleges are being asked to create a diversity, equity, and inclusive plan that aligns with the university goals to create a sense of belonging and care for all students from each colleges. As we know, all students are unique and we want them to feel safe and belong within their colleges and university. And then you'll see the fourth one, we would like to increase faculty diversity groups. So as the provost mentioned, there is 32% undergraduate Latinas or Latinos, and there's 9% faculty that are Latin. So we would like to increase representation for our Latin community. Moving on to our Vice Provost, Atasha Swalza, which is an amazing woman. She centralizes in resources for faculty to thrive throughout their career at Sac State. So I noticed that a lot of the directors were mentioning faculty training. She would be your girl to talk about their type of training. Right now, she oversees the new faculty support, which has an interdisciplinary mentoring program for first-year faculty. And then there is new faculty connections that happen Fridays from 2:30 to 4 p.m. And then she also oversees the National Center for Faculty Development and Diversity, which provides professional development and training resources for our faculty members. And lastly, our Vice Provost, David Ziegler, who is in charge of the student academic success. He really has his heart devoted to the Hornet Launch program, and what he does is he makes sure that the communication with deans, college departments, advising, and the Hornet Launch Committee is taking place properly, operates correctly and efficient, so our students can have the best program for first and second year students. I also provided a link to the Hornet program if you guys have any questions. I wanted to make note of this tuition increase that will take effect in fall of 2024, as this is an academic related issue. Just a little brief history on this. September 14 of 23, the CSU Board of Trustees decided to raise tuition by 6% per year for the next 5 years. So President Woods met with the ASI president and several other student groups and initiated a 10-point plan to address many of the barriers that students are currently facing, as well as what they anticipate that they will face. So to what I understand is this 10-point plan would like to be addressed by the fall of 2024. But I would just review here that there will be a launch. They will launch an awareness campaign focused on the tuition increase in financial aid resources. They established a Tiger team. They would like to establish a Tiger team on reducing barriers in financial aid and scholarships. Increase scholarship utilization rates by streamlining and simplifying scholarship processes. Number 4, increase staff in the financial aid office and provide more support for student staff. Implement a Sacramento state-led lobbying campaign at the state capitol. Increase access to information on scholarships on main websites and on campus, which we have seen this already. Establish a basic needs center on campus. Resume the Removing Administrative Barriers Working Group. Increase opportunities for student employment and increase fundraising for scholarships for students most impacted by tuition increase. If our directors see something that they would like to work on with President Woods and other student group leaders, I advise you to reach out so you can be part of this 10-point plan. Lastly, the ASI strategic priorities connected to academics. As of now, I'm working on advocating for the expansion and improvement of study spaces for student parents. The action plan we have here is to meet with campus departments for feasibility. We have met with Amy Kutzman, I hope I'm saying her last name right, to look at the study space for student parents that is currently located in the library. And then we also want to talk to Haley Myers, who is the Parents and Families Program Director, and she's very passionate about helping student parents. The second one is collaborating and promote campus partners initiatives for professional development. The action plan we have here is to collaborate on one event and promote professional development throughout the year. We also want to reach out to the Career Center as they're working on how we can increase professional development. Here's my contact information, and here are the sources that I used. I'm not sure if people ask questions after this. Yeah? Okay.
Does anyone have any questions? Ashton?
Well, there you go. I just wanted to ask about the diversity and equity plan, which is great, but my question is, already have an issue with retaining faculty and employing them. Right now, is there a plan that when to implement this? If is there a standing of okay, the faculty retaining rate is good, it's mature enough, we can implement such a plan because in our culture, as it said in the report, we already are having issues with.
Yes, and I actually do have an update specifically for your college. I don't have the notes with me and I don't remember them, but there is actually, they're hiring more professors for your college as of now. And I can connect you with the provost, Carlos Navarro, so he can talk to you more about that.
I'm aware of that.
Oh, okay. That's all I know.
Looks like they're hiring 7 new faculty members. I have a question. So I know you mentioned the feedback from all the different colleges. Are any of the colleges working currently on any of those problems that you mentioned that they're facing?
I'm not sure. What I know is that we reviewed and created plans. They've been talking to their deans about these, so I'm pretty sure that this is something that they're working on as of now.
And if there are any questions also from the audience too, we can take that. Any more questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, we have our consent calendar. The items moved to consent calendar are 2023-24 1167 Berea Tong Andrade Dominguez Financial Committee appointments. 2023-24 1168 Tong Andrade Dominguez University Committee appointments. 2023-24 1169 Tong Andrade Dominguez recommendations to the President for University Committee appointments. 2023-24 1170 Bolas Tong Andrade Dominguez internal committee appointments. 2023-24 1171 Vega Tong Andrade Dominguez faculty senate committee appointments. 2023-24 1172 Vega Tong Andrade Dominguez Great Appeal Committee appointments. If there are no objections, we will adopt the consent calendar. All right, seeing none, the consent calendar is adopted. All right, moving to our first item on new business. 2023-24 1173 Maria ASI Dreamers Social Justice DA USAF Fall 2023 scholarships. Is there a motion? Becky.
I move to approve 2023-2024 1173 Baraya ASI Dreamers Social Justice DA USAF Fall 2023 scholarships.
Right, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Becky.
So folders are being passed right now, and that's for the eyes of only voting members because it has the recipient's name on it. And I'm going through the scholarship timeline real quick. That scholarship opens no later than September 22nd, 2023 and close no later than October 20, 2023 at 5 p.m. The committee has access to applications and essays no later than October 30, 2023. The ASI Scholarship Committee consisted myself as a chair, 1 ASI board member, 1 ASI student employee, and 3 students at large who together filled out the rubrics. So let me walk you through the steps to get the scholarship recipients. Committee members get access to the essays only, and if there are names on the essays, I will remove those names and then convert the PDF. Committee members get a rubric for each individual scholarship. They provide a score for each essay based on its specific rubric. The rubrics that committee members use to score the essays is based on prompt questions that are listed in the operating rules and in the scholarship application. Committee members send their score rubric to the committee chair, which is myself, and then I send that information to our admin assistant, Emily. Emily adds all of the committee members' scores to the overall scoring Excel sheet, in which has the Excel formula, which provides the average based on all the scores that we grade. Essays with the highest average are then emailed to the student affairs to confirm their eligibility to receive the scholarship. Should anyone come out ineligible, academic affairs, Everly then select the essay with the next highest average, and if there is a tie with the next essay, there must be a tie break from our executive director Sandra or the director of finance Hoa. And once the break is complete and eligibility is confirmed, that would be our final recipients. And if there is no tie, that individual are deemed eligible, that would be the recipient for the scholarship as well. So once the scholarship voted on and approved by us today, our office will send the notifications to recipients and non-recipients by November 30, which is tomorrow, and checks will be available on December 7 and 8 if they are not picked up will be mailed. And once it gets passed, we'll publish the name on our file course, so it's gonna be a public information.
All right, is there any other discussion or questions? Are there any questions on this item from the public? All right, seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of 2023-24-1173, Berea, ASI Dreamers, Social Justice, DA, USAF, Fall 2023 scholarships, please raise your hands. Okay, you can lower your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands. Okay, the item passes unanimously. And if there are no objections, I will pass the chair over to my vice chair to go over this next agenda item.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll now move on to the next item, which is 2023-24-1174 Bullis Berea recommendation to the board for ASI Memorial Scholarship recipients, Fall 2023. Is there any discussion? Oh, is there a motion? Veronica.
I move to approve 2023-24-1174 Bullis Berea recommendation to the board for ASI Memorial Scholarship recipients Fall 2023.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Veronica.
So these are our ASI Memorial Scholarships. The process for how these, or the timeline first, was the scholarships open no later than September 22nd, 2023. Did we get the folder? And so just remember the folder only goes to voting members on the board. So the scholarship opened no later than September 22nd, 2023. The scholarship committees were constituted by October 11th, 2023 formal board. The scholarships closed no later than October 20th at 5 p.m. And then the committees had access to the applications and essays no later than October 30th. The results for the scholarships were given to Everly and Javier by November 9th. Then Everly and Javier confirmed the eligibility for the scholarships with the scholarship chairs by November 13th. And then legislation for scholarships was presented at the working board on November 15th. Scholarships were voted on and approved, are going to be voted on and approved hopefully today, November 29th. And then notifications to the recipients and non-recipients will be sent out November 30th. And then the checks will be made available on December 7th and 8th, and if they are not picked up, they will be mailed. The steps to get the scholarship recipients. The first step was the committee members got access to the essays only, and if there were any names on the essays, Everly removed them and then converted it to a PDF. The second step was the committee members got the rubric for each individual scholarship and provided a score for each essay based on its specific rubric. The rubrics that the committee members used to score the essays is based on the prompt questions that are listed in the operating rules and the ASI scholarship, the scholarship application. The third step was the committee members sent their scored rubrics to the committee chair, and the committee chair then sent it out to the administrative assistant. The administrative assistant then added all of the committee member scores to the overall scoring Excel sheet, in which the Excel formula would provide the averages based on all the scores. And then the essays with the highest averages are then emailed to the student affairs to confirm eligibility. Should anyone come out ineligible, the administrative assistant then selects the essay with the highest average. If there is a tie with the next essay, there must be a tie break from either the executive director or the director of finance. Once the break is complete and eligibility is confirmed, that person would be the recipient. If there's no tie and the individuals are deemed eligible, they would be the recipient of the scholarship. And so specifically for mine, I want to mention, the Bayless Scholarship received 37 applicants, the Laura Scholarship received 33, the Lumachi Scholarship received 22 applicants, Ramos received 16, and the Tanton Scholarship received 25. Tanton did have a tie, and that was broken by Vaughn. And then for transparency, the OPRLs state that the membership requirements for these committees are require 2 students at large, including one board member, and then me as the chair. And I did appoint 2 extra students on top of the one extra one that I had. One of them let us know that she would not be available to serve on any ASI scholarship or ASI committees, and was removed from the ASI committees. And then another one did not respond to any communication that I sent out. So we were left with 1 student at large, 1 ASI board member, and me serving as the chair.
Any other questions? Or more discussion on this item? Any comments from the public? Okay, this item will move to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Lower your hands. All those opposed? The item passes. If there are no objections, I'd like to return the chair back to the EDP.
Okay, if there are no objections, I would actually like to pass the chair to Tammy, our parliamentarian, to go over this next agenda item.
Thank you. Our next item is 2023-24-1175. Boyes Jimenez County Resolution Condemning Human Rights Violations and Hate Crimes. Is there a motion? Monica.
I move to approve 2023-24-1175 Bolas Jimenez Gani Resolution Condemning Human Rights Violations and Hate Crimes.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
All right, so I will read this resolution out. There have been made some edits since the working board meeting, and also some edits that were made recently before yesterday. So skipping the first 2, whereas starting in 1882, Palestine saw multiple waves of Jewish immigration, which increased after World War I, when Palestine came under the British mandate, and in 1917, the Balfour Declaration gave a legal basis for Jewish immigration, thus encouraging it. And whereas Jewish immigration to Palestine also increased because of the rise of anti-Semitism and Nazism in Europe, and as well as the U.S. Immigration Act of 1924, which limited immigration from Europe, by placing strict quotas on each country. And whereas in Germany, the Nazi Party won 37.3% of the popular vote in July 1932, marking the rise of anti-Semitism in Europe. Between 1932 and 1939, Palestine absorbed 247,000 newcomers, which constituted 46% of Jewish emigration from Europe. And whereas ASCSUS strongly condemns any form of anti-Semitism and has previously passed Resolution 2022-2304-121, stating its support for the Jewish community and denouncing the acts of anti-Semitism on campus. And whereas in May 1948, when the mandate of the Balfour Declaration expired, protections of the native Palestinians were relinquished, and they were expelled from their ancestral homeland. This marked the beginning of the Nakba, catastrophe in Arabic, a campaign of terror marked by mass terror, systemic sexual violence, and the razing of over 500 Palestinian villages. And whereas according to the Institute for Middle East Understanding, the Nakba resulted in the expulsion of approximately 3/4 of all Palestinians, upwards of 750,000 people from their homeland during Israel's establishment. And whereas in the year 1948, during the Nakba, over 24 separate massacres of Palestinian people occurred, one of which occurred in the city of Deir Yassin, where over 100 Palestinian women and children were massacred, triggering a mass exodus of Palestinians from their land. And whereas Resolution 2023-34, adopted by the United Nations Economic and Social Council on July 22, 2023, reaffirmed the principle of the permanent sovereignty of peoples under foreign occupation over their natural resources, citing the ongoing exploitation, endangerment, and depletion of natural resources by Israel in occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, as illegal under international law. And whereas the United Nations General Assembly has passed resolutions 7089, 7196, and 5234, condemning the violence and destruction committed against Palestinians in their historic and religious land, recognizing the protections of Palestinians as persons in a time of war, and reaffirming the right of the Palestinian people to live in freedom, justice, and dignity. And whereas according to the United Nations Statistics Division, more than 97% of the water pumped from the coastal aquifer in the Gaza Strip does not meet the water quality standards of the World Health Organization. And whereas Amnesty International states that the reason for Gaza's contaminated water supply is that Israel does not allow water to be transferred from the West Bank to Gaza, and Gaza's only freshwater resource, the coastal aquifer, is insufficient for the needs of the population and is being increasingly depleted by over-extraction and contaminated by sewage and seawater infiltration. And whereas according to Amnesty International, Palestinians consume on average 73 liters of water a day per person, which is well below the World Health Organization's recommended daily minimum of 100 liters per capita. In many hurting communities in the West Bank, the water consumption for thousands of Palestinians is as low as 20 liters per day, according to the United Nations Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. And whereas the Israeli authorities have placed a land, sea, and air blockade on the Palestinian people in the occupied Palestinian territory that restricts the movement of resources going in and out of the territories. About 62% of Palestinians in Gaza require food assistance. Currently, the Gaza power plant, which is purchased from Israel, meets about 50% of the electricity demand in Gaza. Additionally, in 2021, the Israeli authorities imposed power cuts that averaged about 11 hours per day. And whereas Jewish Voice for Peace is the largest progressive Jewish anti-Zionism organization in the world, and they are organizing an intersectional grassroots movement in solidarity with the Palestinian freedom struggle. They cite that in Israel, Jewish people of color from the Arab world, North Africa, and East Asia have long been subjected to systemic discrimination and violence by the Israeli government. That hierarchy also creates Jewish spaces where Jews of color are marginalized, our identities and commitments questioned and interrogated, and our experiences invalidated. And whereas according to the World Health Organization, disruptions in sewage pumping and water shortages have caused a spike in waterborne diseases and bacterial infections among people in the Gaza Strip. And whereas the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres released a statement on November 14, 2023, stating that he was deeply disturbed by the horrible situation and dramatic loss of life reported in Gaza's medical facilities, and called for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the name of humanity. And whereas since October 7, 2023, according to Amnesty International, more than 1,200 people have been killed and 2,400 have been injured in Israel. And whereas since October 7, 2023, according to the UN Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, more than 15,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza, including about 6,150 children and 4,000 women. And 1.8 million people in Gaza, or nearly 80% of the population, are estimated to be internally displaced. Additionally, across the Gaza Strip, more than 46,000 homes have been destroyed, and over 234,000 housing units have been otherwise damaged. And whereas since October 7, 2023, there are more than 35,000 Palestinians in Gaza injured, with more than 75% of them being children and women. And whereas the Associated Students at CSU Fullerton, CSU Long Beach, CSU East Bay, CSU San Francisco, CSU San Jose, and other student government organizations across the country have passed similar resolutions in support of human rights, calling for the divestment and or condemning the human rights violations committed by the Israeli government. And whereas the University of California Student Association has already released a statement in response to these attacks, calling on the University of California to recognize the nature of apartheid in the Gaza Strip. Sorry, I'm just getting another copy. The one I have is not updated. And therefore let it be resolved, ASCSUS condemns the loss of innocent lives anywhere. And be it resolved, ASCSUS condemns the horrific events of October 7, 2023, and mourns the innocent Israeli civilian lives lost, while also equally mourning the innocent Palestinian civilians who lost their lives and continue to be affected by the human rights violations committed by the Israeli government and Hamas. Let it be resolved, ASCSUS denounces all instances of human rights violations, violence, hate crimes, and killing committed before and after the recent events of October 7. And be it resolved, ASCSUS condemns the Israeli Defense Minister's labeling of Palestinians as human animals and any other hateful and offensive rhetoric. And be it resolved, ASCSUS calls for an immediate ceasefire to prevent additional loss of life. And be it resolved, ASCSUS calls for the immediate safe return of all innocent hostages and duly imprisoned civilians. And be it resolved, ASCSUS calls for the immediate restoration of basic services, water, electricity, and fuel to the civilians in Gaza. And be it resolved, ASCSUS condemns the rise of anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, hate crimes, doxing, and suppression of freedom of speech in universities across the United States. And be it resolved, ASCSUS calls for the protection and support of students and untenured faculty at Sacramento State who participate in organizing for humanitarian rights. And be it resolved, ASCSUS urges the Sacramento State Administration to strategize methods to provide support and safety for students fearing doxing, smearing, and retaliation as a result of their advocacy. And be it resolved, ASCSUS urges Sacramento State community to be informed and educated on the history and atrocities experienced by the Palestinian and Jewish communities. And be it resolved, ASCSUS calls on the California State University, Sacramento University Foundation to include a clause in their investment policy about making socially responsible investments related directly to international humanitarian violations. And be it resolved, ASCSUS calls on the California State University, Sacramento University Foundation and the California State University system to divest from corporations with financial contributions to the human rights violations of Palestinians. And be it resolved, ASCSUS calls on the California State Student Association, CSSA, to join the UC Student Association in recognizing and denouncing the human rights violations, violence, hate crimes, and killings committed before and after the events of October 7th. And be it finally resolved that this resolution be distributed to the following list.
Thank you. We'll start with comments from the board and then we'll move to public comment. Are there any comments from any board members? Okay, let's move to the public. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak to this item? If there are, please come to the podium. And we ask that you sign in. As we said with public comment earlier, public comment is limited to 3 minutes and an overall time is 15 minutes. So your time will start as soon as you start talking.
Alright, can you hear me? Alright. Okay. A comment made at the last meeting stated that this resolution did not address attacks on the nation state of Israel throughout the years. Let's talk about the attacks over the years. Harvard Law has outlined the basis under which Israel is considered an apartheid state. The United Nations has outlined the basis under which Israel is considered an occupying force. And Israel itself does not recognize the statehood of Palestine, working overtime, in fact, to erase it off the face of the earth. So if Palestine is not already a state, then under Article 2.4 of the United Nations Charter, which states all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state, then Israel does not have the legal right to self-defense, not against a territory it occupies, and the use of force in Gaza is not permissible. And if Israel did meet the legal basis to the right to self-defense, its response would be limited by the necessity and proportionality criteria of customary international law. Does this look proportional? Do you call this proportional? Do you call 1,000 dead children proportional? Do you call the abandoned, decomposing bodies of premature babies in hospitals in Al-Nasser Hospital proportional? Do you call the performance of amputations and surgeries and C-sections all without the use of anesthesia necessary? Forget legality. There is no moral argument to be made in defense of Israel's crimes. These crimes have stretched across decades, beginning in the Nakba in 1948 and continuing today. And as of a few days ago, the numbers of martyred and displaced Palestinians has surpassed the Nakba. So calling Palestinian resistance attacks on the nation state of Israel is purposefully misleading. General Assembly Resolution 45-130 of the United Nations reaffirms the inalienable right of the Palestinian people and all people under foreign occupation and colonial domination to self-determination, national independence, territorial integrity, national unity, and sovereignty without foreign independence. And the UN strongly condemns those governments that do not recognize the right to self-determination and independence of all people still under colonial domination, alien subjugation, foreign occupation, notably the Palestinian people, their words. Lastly, I want to address her disgusting complaint that this resolution is slanted and that it is a numbers game. These are not numbers. Each life taken, each hospital bombed and shut down, each mosque and church and house bombed and reduced to rubble is a horrific tragedy. This is not a game to us. And I say to you, if you have contributed to the fear-mongering, if you've tried to threaten students to keep them silent, if you have tried to shut our voices down, shame on you. You might be afraid, but do not poison us with your cowardice. I know what is right, we know what is right, and I am not afraid, and we are not afraid. So I ask you, when you vote today, will you align yourself with justice, or will you align yourself with the oppressor?
For those of you who have brought us sign, one moment, ma'am. For those of you that brought a sign in order, once you speak, if you could come to the middle and just show it to the camera so that those that are watching online can see it, just briefly for us. Thank you so much. Your time will begin as soon as you start.
Hi, my name is Aaron. I'm a Jewish student on campus, and I just wanted to come here today to speak in favor of this resolution, but also more personally speak to the board. It is my belief that those who have power should use it, and you were all elected by us students here today. We now have some great leaders in the room because of that. But I do believe that leaders don't sit back. I believe that leaders use their power and their voice and their vote. And it would be very disappointing today to see anybody abstain on such an important resolution to the students on this campus. So yeah, my name's Aaron. I support this resolution, and I hope you all do too. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
So I'm standing here in complete solidarity with the Palestinian community of Sac State as they push further for support and a proper statement from the university. It is truly a shame that it has taken this long for our ASI and faculty that represent students of color to speak on this matter. The Indigenous Supreme Council of Michoacan declared their unwavering support for Palestine on October 17th. My hometown, Richmond, California, became the first city in the US to declare solidarity with Palestine on October 24th. Both of which were less than 3 weeks since the siege of Gaza began. Yet our campus, 50 days in, has chosen silence and has come out with a resolution that does not truly show solidarity. I find immense discomfort in this silence, more so since the call for Palestinian liberation has been turned into a complicated matter. As someone who is Latino, I cannot imagine being told that my people's struggles is a complicated matter. As someone who also happens to be Latino of indigenous Purepecha origin, I can't imagine my people reclaiming their land being called a complicated matter. This campus has rightfully provided assistance, acts, and statements of support for students affected from violence both domestically and abroad. We saw this during Black Lives Matter, during Stop Asian Hate, the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the threat of undocumented and queer rights, and since the invasion of Ukraine from Russia. And during a flare-up of recent anti-Semitism due to Nazi symbolism and rhetoric. Yet nothing on Palestine. The silence has allowed me to forever see the heavy hypocrisy that lingers with all the past events and emails sent out to celebrate and acknowledge Black History Month, Latino Heritage Month, AAPI Month, Pride Month, etc. You choose to cherry pick our community's growth and accomplishments without acknowledging our revolutionaries, our cause, and our struggle that led us there. Therefore, it's important that everyone in this room coming to show solidarity, it is important to state that everyone in this room coming to show solidarity with Palestine is here because they are either Palestinian, come from a region affected by Israel, or is a person of color that shares a similar experience with Palestine. I urge you all now to do your duty as representatives of students on the campus and not only vote in favor of a resolution, but to also work closely with Social Justice for Palestine on a resolution that truly meets the needs of the Palestinian community on campus. 30 seconds. That's all. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Hi everybody, my name is Shadon Barham. I'm Palestinian. I was born in Jordan. I'm gonna come up here and talk about something that has been haunting me. It's a little story. You might say that I'm emotionally manipulating you, or I'm trying to emotionally manipulate you. But in reality, I'm trying to bring this closer to home, and I'm trying to show you the humanity.
Could you speak a little bit more into the mic?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
So, there's a story of two children who were sleeping with their mother, and their grandfather was in another room. They asked their grandfather that night if they could go outside and play. They couldn't, because there was bombs everywhere. There was nowhere safe to play. Said that same night, that house was bombed. The rubble fell while the mother was sleeping. She could hear the little girl, her name was Diem. She could hear her screaming. Next thing you know, she passes out. Grandfather comes running. He sees the rubble. He doesn't see his two grandchildren. They're buried under the rubble. The next video you see is of him holding Diem. And he calls her the soul of my soul. He kisses her, he holds her, he gently cleans her, and then he lays her next to her brother, who was also dead. So I'm just asking you, is that so hard to condemn? Is that so hard to look at and be like, that is wrong. What is happening is wrong. And I am sick and tired of jumping and waving my hands, trying to get the attention to my people. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Noah Jello, and I didn't really prepare anything for today, but I'm speaking in solidarity with Palestinian students just because I believe it's what's right. I'm a sociologist, and my favorite method of research is to look at history, and if you know anything about the history of what's been going on, I just don't understand how it can be so difficult for people to support Palestinian students during this time. Hearing everybody's stories breaks my heart every day, and we have some very strong and brave speakers and students here. I'm not one of them. I just want my campus to do what's right, and I want us to feel safe here. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Before the vote begins, I'm just a little bit concerned that some of you might feel that this is too controversial of a subject, too complicated for the campus to take a stand on. It isn't. I would like to remind all of you that in a time of oppression, not picking a side is equivalent to picking the side of the oppressor. This is not a religious issue. This is not a matter of anti-Semitism. Standing up for Palestine is not anti-Semitism. There are Jewish Palestinians. Do you think they're exempt from the bombing? They're not. There are Christian Palestinians. Do you think they're spared from the massacre? They're not. Jewish people in Israel as well, supporting Palestine, are oppressed by their own government. This is not a matter of numbers. This is not a matter of religion. What is done to the people of Palestine is not a justifiable response to the attacks on October 7th. The number given by Israel was 1,500 people. Later, a fifth of those people didn't die. The number was changed to 1,200. That is a fifth of the numbers given gone. Over 20,000 Palestinians have been killed. 67% of those people are women and children. is that self-defense? Is it self-defense to massacre innocents because of an attack that they didn't perpetrate? Because of an attack they had no responsibility? Is it fair to bomb churches, bomb hospitals, bomb schools because of something that innocent people had no part in? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Before you start, you've already spoken once today? Is that correct? No? Okay, sorry. I just want to make sure that anyone who hasn't had a chance to speak. Yes, no.
I don't have anything physically written. I don't really think I need to after what I've witnessed these last 2 months. I want to say that the way this campus has treated students, not just Palestinian students, but all advocates of Palestine is absolutely ridiculous. A person mentioned too about celebrating other people's heritage months. I want to point out when it was Arab Appreciation, or what is it called, like Arab Recognition Month? That we have a month. It's in April. Nothing was posted about that. When it's Christmas or Hanukkah or anything, whatever religion, all religions, they get posted about. When it's Ramadan, nothing happens for that. So just know that you guys have made it very, very, very clear what Arabs and Muslims mean to you on campus. And on top of that, it took an unimaginable amount of threats and situations for President Luqman to call out Islamophobia and advocacy rights on campus. And I just want to replay the scene yesterday. I have 3 different angles of videos of what happened, and you can just hear everyone's silence. It seemed like everyone had settled with the fact that he was going to pull out a gun, and just the silence afterwards. And it's because we're normalized that we're taught to know what comes with doing this. The 3 Palestinian kids that got shot in Vermont, they're not the only case, and we are taught to be prepared for that. We're taught to be prepared for that. Everyone settled with that, and when it wasn't a gun, everyone's reaction was just grateful that didn't happen. Didn't even realize what could have. Everybody had to sit with the fact what could have just happened right there. And ultimately, all I was thinking about afterwards was, is this what it takes for the campus to speak up? Why does it take 2 months to speak up about this? Why? Why is it this hard? And on top of that, countless lies have been brought up on Israel's end and still nothing. It's like, again, like I keep saying this, we are sick of auditioning for your sympathy, and it's so disgraceful that we thought that we were in this progressive campus. Mind you, Sacramento has so many Arabs, not just in alumni, not just in students, and not just in future students here as well.
30 seconds.
I urge you guys to stand on the right side of history, because we have provided you countless amounts of proof of that what's going on in Gaza is a genocide. What's going on in all of Palestine is apartheid, and it's an occupation. Did any of you guys ever stop to think, wait, why are there Palestinian hostages being given back? No. That's what I'm saying, is that nobody cares to look at Palestine. Just look at the facts. It's not a numbers game. And honestly, I'm sad to have heard it was that. Are Palestinian lives not real to you? Are we not real human beings to you? Do I not look real to you?
Thank you for your comments. And that is the 15 minutes for public comment. Were there any additional comments from the board members? Yes.
So, I know this is a lot of people might be worried of thinking about how they might vote on this. I want to address some of the main criticisms that we were getting. One of the biggest ones was a false claim about how we are going about this in a biased way. The process of how this resolution was written was not biased. This resolution was written the exact same way that I personally wrote the Jewish resolution against anti-Semitism last year. It was written the exact same process. There were students that came to us concerned last year about anti-Semitism. They spoke at our board meeting. We contacted them. We wrote a resolution with them. We sat with them on a Zoom call, and they wrote the resolution with us. This year, it was the exact same thing. A couple more board meetings back, we had 2 Palestinian students come to us, tell us that they were upset, that they wanted us to speak out before October 7th happened. We met with them, and we worked on a resolution. This was something that we worked on long before any of this happened. So it was the exact same process. And then we were getting attacked that we don't take stances on international issues, which is completely false, completely false. I've written a resolution myself about an international issue last year supporting the Iranian community. So to me, that it seems like we take stances on international issues but draw the line at this one, and I think that's completely horrible. I don't think the line should be drawn here. If that was a rule or a policy that was set a long time ago, I would have respected that, but that isn't a policy. That is not written anywhere. We have taken stances in support of the Afghan community. We've taken stances in support of the Jewish community, of the Iranian community, during Black Lives Matter. We've taken so many stances on controversial issues, on non-controversial issues, international issues, and I don't think the line should be drawn here. And another criticism was that we didn't consult the Jewish community. So we went to the listening sessions. All of the authors of this resolution went to both of the listening sessions, and we listened, and we incorporated their asks in there. Their asks were that they wanted us to address the history. They thought that this did not start the same way that for Palestinians this didn't start on October 7th. They felt that for Jewish people this didn't start in 1948. So we added in there the first 3 clauses about the Holocaust and Jewish immigration. We added that in there. That was one of their main asks. The other ask was that they were scared about anti-Semitism. It was added in there. We mentioned multiple times. This is not saying anything against Jewish people. This is not anti-Semitic. We stand against anti-Semitism. We wrote a resolution against anti-Semitism. We mentioned it in here at least multiple times, at least 2 or 3 times, that we stand against it again and again and again, and we always will. It's not about that. We have met all of the recommendations, all of the reasonable recommendations that have been made to us, we have put into the resolution. The main ask that came from students, who we are here to represent, not faculty. We are here to represent the students. And they asked us those 2 things, history and protection against anti-Semitism. And that's what we put in there. So when we receive attacks from faculty saying that this is slanted, saying that it's a numbers game, and all of the other multiple attacks that we've received from faculty, we are not going to incorporate those in. We looked at them, we listened to them, and anything that was reasonable we considered and we added. So I just really want to stress that this process was not biased. We went about it the same way that I've went about every single other resolution that I've written. And it's not a wrong thing to also represent the community that you're from when you're here. We're representing students and our constituents and our colleges, but we are also representing our communities and our identities, transfer students, international students, student parents, all of that. So it is not biased for me or any other students that are affected by this to bring that voice up to the students on this board that don't understand that voice and don't hear that voice.
Are there any other comments from the board? Seeing and hearing none, we'll go right into, I'm sorry.
I just want to remind the board that we accept a scholarship, all of us accept a scholarship that comes directly from student money. And we have all made a commitment to elevate the student voice. And you guys have heard from students today, you've heard from them at the listening session, so please keep that in mind before you vote.
Any other comments from the board? Seeing and hearing none, we'll go straight to a roll call vote. And again, we are voting on 2023-24-1175, resolution condemning human rights violations and hate crime. Andre Dominguez.
Yes.
Wallace.
Yes.
Feria.
Abstain.
Vega Castellinas. Escalante. Torres. Aguirre. Jabber. Colin Vasquez, please.
Yes.
Connie.
Yes.
Jimenez.
Yes.
And Belia.
Abstain.
Zane. Moore.
Same.
Curry.
Abstain.
Thank you. One moment. With 8 in favor, 0 against, and 6 abstentions, the resolution has been adopted.
The next item on the agenda is 2023-24-1176 for Green Schoolyard grants for nonprofit child care facilities form for ASI Children's Center application. Is there a motion? Richie.
I move to approve 2023-2024-1176 Bavaria Green Schoolyards grant for non-profit childcare facilities form for ASI Children's Center application.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
So the ASI Children's Center requests our ASI Board of Directors to approve the attached board resolution to apply for the Green Schoolyards grant for non-profit childcare facilities. And once it passed, our ASI Executive Director will sign the board resolution to support the Children's Center to apply for funding. And if Chair allows, I would like to pass it over to Sandra to talk more about it.
Hi all, so I don't know how many folks know, but we are in the process of redoing the backyard section of the Children's Center. They are in bad disrepair, so we're trying to, it's going to be a major construction project. We're estimating it's going to be over $2 million to redo. We have about half of the funding from Senator McCarty's office, Assemblymember McCarty's. We are now looking to stop some grant funding, and this is the application. The grant requires a resolution in support of the application from the board. So I do ask you to support this resolution so that we can apply for grant funding to add to the funds that we currently have to redo the play yards of the Children's Center.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All those in favor of 2023-24-1176 Berea Green Schoolyard grants for nonprofit child care facilities form for ASI Children's Center application, please raise your hands. You can lower your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands. None, the item passes unanimously. All right, next we have our ASI College Director reports. Alright, if there is no objection, we will do a quick recess for 6 minutes and come back at 3:20.
Yeah, I mean, usually they're just like this, they'll know. But we're not interviewing them right now, as soon as it's being, then you can have
No, I never had that difficulty when I was getting my meter right there. And I always think, and I always remember feeling like really weird about that. Like I was writing my own cover letter but never signing it. No, I read some letters and I
yeah, it's not good. I don't think she's. A lot of stuff is
oh, I better get on it.
I know, but the genetic thing we do first is I'm about to die.
It's when we have a well then after December 4th, take a nice big nap and take a day off. Yeah, get yourself a milkshake.
A milkshake, that's what Alright, I'll see you, Professor.
Bye, Erin. Well, actually, that's I stole that from a faculty member of mine. He does these consumable rewards. So when I was in grad school, he would always say every time he had like a deadline and he met it, he would go buy himself a milkshake. So he was a big proponent of consumable rewards. And so I do when I've had a long week and I get a deadline, I go get boba at the little Vietnamese place. It's my consumable. I can't do dairy anymore.
You know, your classmates are out there asking that
It's not
question.
too sweet, so I get the
I mean, I was just
caffeinated one,
asking,
so I get that
I didn't know if you realized that.
tapioca, yeah. Consumable rewards.
At the end of the day.
Oh, God, I just feel like my whole body.
And so,
It's coming up tomorrow too. In a very different way. In a very different way. Then it's just everything just feels so intense. Did a couple of updates that were sort of
No, not very big ones, yeah. But you could look at their
suggestions and they didn't include yeah, no, and they did, yeah. So anyway, I've had some conversations with them about it. But the only reason I didn't speak now is because number one, I've already, it's for students.
Well,
and especially when I'm speaking at
things like that. So I think so definitely look at it. Really,
what you see, 500 feet away, I haven't seen anything. What if I'm going to get?
We support things processes that were defined. And so it's more of a cleanup than
they are the leaders.
But it was done a couple years ago. And you have to copy legislation. It's not for us to tell us that if there's I think there's
These are my
room
four
for
classes that are right over, and then I have the
clarity
right there, and then the 5 is lower. I also have a pair of just I love them more than anything I can even talk to. Because that little blur that you have when you're looking at your computer, these are perfect. They're absolutely perfect.
Oh, I know.
If you've never gotten a pair of that iterative, you have a hard time with reading your computer, get a pair.
Alright, we are 1 minute away. We are missing a couple of people.
Yeah, although I would it goes
But I had
the budget first.
told the chair about
Yes.
anytime
Go
you
through
rush.
the financial budget, yeah, the
Most
financial budget.
and the
Review and understand what.
So we did the thing, we can also say, all the reports are online, we read them online, and then we can to announcements, have like less than a minute.
No, I know, because I know that Justin needs projects, he's also mentoring and supporting her. And as long as it's.
Like we do the reports. I think you're at a working place, it's Y'all did very well.
Yeah.
Every city, you know what?
All right, I will call the meeting back to order at 3:20 p.m. All right, after speaking to some of the board members, it seems like there's a need for maybe to skip the board reports. So what I'm going to do is we're actually going to, if there are no objections, we will move straight to announcements, and all the board reports are made online for people to read and access.
Announcement, right?
Oh, yes.
Are we on announcements?
Yes, please.
Actually, the only as you all know, I don't really make announcements. I just give like soft, fluffy advice to like hopefully warm your soul in the middle of a really difficult time. I was just going to say that I really hope that you all, and it's very important, after a very difficult vote like that, just remember that you all still have to work together beyond this crisis and beyond this resolution. So just remember to honor each other's, decisions and continue to support each other. Everyone makes their decision for their own personal reasons, and I just hope you know that, at least for my part, you all still have my support regardless. I'm glad that, folks felt that they could speak up, and that's really, really valuable on this really difficult issue. But I also think it's very important that you continue to collaborate, honor each other's choices and work together and find a way to continue. You all need to model healing right now because the campus is not in a space of healing yet. And so I just hope that you all are able to do that for yourselves, because being a leader is very challenging. So that's all I was going to say.
Rosa?
I wanted to say this during my board report, but I'll just say it now. I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody who helped Zanab and I during our kickoff event, to Emily, our beer, all the office staff, especially those who helped us the day of, Sachi, Tinkle helping us as well, and all of the students who came and supported our event. We saw over 100 students from all colleges, not just HHS and NSM. So we just really want to thank you all for coming out, and for everybody who tabled. I know that you guys all took part out of your day. Our deans were there, it was great, so I just wanted to shout everybody out, and y'all did really great. And HHS homecoming cart won first place, so of course I have to shout that out. I'm here to rep my college, so yeah, I just wanted to tell everybody that if you all didn't know, HHS won. And thank you, that's all.
For those who applied for the scholarship, please keep an eye on your inbox, because notifications to the recipients and non-recipients will be sent out tomorrow, whether you are getting scholarship or not. So.
Gina?
Must be almost out of battery. I wanted to share that the women's volleyball team that went deep into the playoffs, they did lose in the playoff tournament, but are hosting, they were selected to host a specific kind of tournament It's going on today and tomorrow. Today they will play at 7. There's another team playing at 4, and then or teams playing at 4, and then they could advance to tomorrow if anybody wants to go out and support volleyball, as well as football will be on Saturday, but that is away. So televised, watch if you wish.
Okay. So this brings us to our last board meeting for the semester. But that does not mean you all stop checking your emails. So I have sent out a calendar invite for our mid-year board retreat, which is going to take place in January 19th, which is a Friday. I put that hold for the whole day, just so you don't make any other commitments. It probably will not start at 8. I don't think it has in the past either. But once we get those details finalized, Veronica and I, we will send out agenda and all that stuff. And then also keep an eye out for other emails, announcements, things like that. Those will also be sent over winter break. So make sure you're still checking your emails. You're not done yet. And next week, I think on the 8th, Veronica, correct me if I'm wrong, is the last day for office hours. So you all have one more week left of office hours, so please make sure you all are here next week. And then I will be working to bring snacks for you all, both for our board and our student staff, so you all can, study hard with finals and things like that. But please be mindful when you do eat the snacks, don't just consume them all in one day. Make sure that they last the whole week. I'll buy bulk, but just want to put that. So again? Yeah, but I will do my best to be mindful of dietary restrictions, gluten, all of that stuff. If there's something that you're like, I absolutely want this, and I can get it at like a Target or something like that, let me know. But yeah, that's all I have for you.
It's holiday season, a variety of holidays, and many of the colleges in the university are maybe inviting you to different events. It's really, really critical that you respond yes or no. And RSVP is a yes or a no. So if you are not going to attend and you know it, please don't forget to RSVP no, because it's critically important for their catering counts and so forth. So as you look out for those, if someone is inviting you, please answer, and please answer yes or no. Don't just ignore it if it's a no. Thank you.
So, folks, you know the drill. We have our journalism students who are awesome, and they're sitting out in the crowd. So I do ask everybody to stay after the board meeting adjourns for a good 5-10 minutes to have them ask you questions. Mic went on. That's okay. So just stay after the meeting to answer questions. 10 minutes. Thank you. 10 minutes.
All right, any other announcements? So I got a few questions about office hours. So again, the ones for the semester end on the 8th officially. I will send you guys an email of when the deadline to send me your new office hours for next semester will be. So start looking at your schedules for next semester and planning for it. I really don't recommend having them all be the same day back to back. So just start to kind of like find 2 hours within your schedule or so to have your office hours. And so just look forward to an email from me about when those new ones will be due for next semester. Office hours next semester will start the second week of school. So we usually give you the first week of school to kind of get settled in and get accustomed to everything on campus. And then the second week is when we officially start our office hours. I'll include that in the email too. And then lastly, next semester, we do really recommend that you stay on the committees that you were on the first semester, just so there isn't too much shifting around, and especially the university committees, because those we kind of already get you appointed to them, and you've already worked on certain things the entire fall semester. So it's good to come back and continue the work for the spring. If there are any complications, please let us know. I will send an email about the committees as well, but please try your best to stay on the same committees that you did this semester, next semester. Natalie.
sorry, I forgot to mention that as of November, we funded 145 clubs, so we only have $58,000 left for DOC.
I just wanted to provide some updates since this is our last board meeting. I don't want to bombard you guys with a bunch of emails that you guys will probably not read to the end if I have to type it all. So the first one being, I sent you guys an email this morning with the draft Canvas module of all the Sac State resources, so I hope you guys got a chance to see that. I am in love with it. I think it's beautiful, straight to the point, has 10 sections off of like different types of resources on campus, and then when you open that up, it has links to all the direct resources. If we all approve, so if you guys can just, if you don't have any edits, just like, hey, it's great, ready to go, I will tell IT that we approve of it, and then they will launch it and implement it onto all Sac State students' Canvas pages by the end of the semester. And all students will have it. It's going to be the first module that they see when they log into Canvas. So please answer back, and if you have any additional resources you'd like to add, let me know so we can give that back to IT. Next update is for the Basic Needs Center and the SWANA Center. So we've been working on that collaboratively with Student Affairs, the Office of the President, to implement these centers. We'll have some more updates within the next few weeks, or more likely in the beginning of the semester, of the potential spaces for these locations, and then I'm going to be asking for a few of you to work on sitting on the implementation team for these centers to really plan out our vision and what we want to see in these centers, and hopefully those open up next semester. So that's going to be great that we're a board that has opened up 2 new centers on campus. So let's stay active in that process. I also still need 2 of you to sign up for the Family Feud event that we're going to have with the University Cabinet. So if the majority of you already know your schedule for next semester, please let me know what date works best, so we can already schedule a date so that Cabinet has that date blocked off and we have that date blocked off. We're looking like at an hour and a half, we're going to have 2 teams to play a Family Feud event against each other, and we're going to invite the entire campus to come. So still looking for 2 people for those. Then tomorrow we have the last Vice President of Student Affairs forum. I know a bunch of us already attended the one from yesterday and today, and we have our last candidate tomorrow. So if you all can join, it's at 1 p.m. on Zoom. I sent you all the information already. If you can make it, I think it's really vital for us to be there, especially for this position. So if you can be there, just please be there tomorrow for the student forum. I know there's a campus forum, but if you can be there for the student forum, that was designed specifically for us. And students at large. The Provost Search Committee is open, and I have offered it to Bertha, but if she is unavailable, I'm looking for anyone else to serve. It is a huge time commitment, so if you're interested, let me know, and I'll walk you through what that timeline looks like if Bertha decides not to sit on it. Lastly, we have an awesome event that is coming up this Friday. It is essentially to introduce an innovation hub for the College of Engineering and Computer Science to be built at Sac State. They're going to be presenting it at this event. It will be in the Redwood Room here in the Union First floor at 9:30 a.m. this Friday. There's going to be a panel with the Dean of ECS, President Wood, and a bunch of other people who work in non-electric companies from Revron and a lot of other engineering companies who are going to come and speak of why they want to bring this to Sac State, their plan, their vision, and it's going to be amazing. So if you guys can be there, especially inviting ECS students and promote that. I know Hashem, you posted it, so if we can all repost that within the next few days so we get huge turnout at that event. And that is it. If you have any questions, just come up to me.
Who already signed up for the family feud? No. Anna?
Just an update, if you guys recall, at our last working board meeting, we had the College of NSM had their annual Turkey Bowl against the College of ECS directly after the meeting, and the College of NSM did win once again. So better luck next year to the College of ECS.
I just want to state that it's rigged, and I'm just messing with you guys. I think this is a certification that, although you won a trophy for being good at bowling, we win a trophy that we're good at books. I was sorry.
Alright, you can take this throwdown outside. Any other announcements? Okay, seeing none, I will adjourn this meeting at 3:34 p.m.